Hello and welcome to our Sunday streaming services. We are coming at you on YouTube, Facebook, and here on Zoom. If you are joining us in Zoom, welcome. Please consider saying hello in the chat and we'll say hi back and sticking around for Talkback afterwards. Talkback is when we talk about the sermon or anything else going on and we just have great community together. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, subscribe. Subscribe to get notifications when we put up new videos. Always fun. Today's sermon, The Pendulum Between Colonialism and Community and the Hope in Between with Paul Fucile. I am excited. That sounds like we are going to learn a lot. And it's been a while since Paul did anything, so I'm excited. If you are in need of some pastoral care, please contact Deneen at pastoralcare@oakcliffuu.org. She's also doing 2 weekly Zoom check-ins and chats, Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 o'clock. So check that out too. She's really helpful. Sweet kitty still needs a home. This kitty is so sweet. And if you can give it a forever home before it gets all cold, please contact Rita at admin@oakcliffuu.org. Seriously, this kitty is a sweetheart. Workday Wednesdays are back. Not quite as fun as Taco Tuesdays, but pretty dang fun. Workday Wednesdays. Come to the church anytime between 10 and 2 to help with landscaping, needed repairs, and painting. It's fun. Oh, I've been talking about it a lot, and it's finally here, our auction fundraiser. Now, hopefully you went ahead and registered on Friday or beforehand and have already maybe bid or have checked out the stuff. But if you haven't, there is still time. Auction doesn't close until 6 o'clock tonight. Seriously, there are some really great stuff on there. There's homemade stuff, jewelry. We've got homemade wands, practical stuff like printers, mini fridges, canning stuff, estate planning, which is a must for every family. There's food and drinks, barbecue, Rita's famous margaritas. Y'all, if you've never tried these margaritas, you don't even understand. These are amazing. These are the best margaritas in the whole world. Secret recipe, so much fun. These were the highest bidded on item last year, and there is a good reason why. So those, Lady Caker, she has provided a cake for us. It is a Winter Wonderland cake. It's really beautiful. There's services, there's tarot readings. I think there's a massage in there. There's just so much stuff to bid on. So go and check it out. And remember, these proceeds go to your church. You get something out of it. It's the holidays. You can gift it or keep it for yourself. It's awesome. Please head over to oakcliffuu.org/auction and bid. Again, bidding closes at 6 o'clock tonight. So go do that. Oh, there is a special service and talkback next week, December 13th, which happens to be my mom's birthday, but that's okay. Sorry. I love my mom. Special service and talkback next week, December 13th. Our social justice ministry will be leading the service and talking about church growth and strengthening our connections within the church. So during talkback, we'll be discussing whether it's time to adopt a new covenant. The covenant that we have now, we adopted in 2012, and I think we can all agree that a lot has changed in the world since 2012, and our congregation has changed since 2012 as well. So is it time for a new covenant, or is the one that we have pretty good? Let's talk about it. We are not changing the covenant on Sunday, but let's talk about it. Join us for Talkback next week, and we will have a nice discussion on whether we want to update, and if we do, what should go in it. What is our covenant to each other and to the community? So yeah, that's next week during Talkback. Thank you to everyone who donated on Giving Tuesday. We did really, really well. If you weren't able to participate, there are other ways to donate still. You can still go to Facebook and click on the donate button, or you can also go to oakcliffuu.org/donate. If you're using Amazon for all of your holiday packages, go to Amazon Smile. Just use us. I give if you are using anything else. Very, very easy. And we have a text to give option. If you volunteer for our church, if you go to Workday Wednesday, or you worked on the auction, or you do anything, make sure to report your time and talent, because we can turn that into money. And at a time when we can't rent out our campus, it's really nice to pull that in. So yes, go do that and breathe. If you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so, so happy to have you. Please go to oakcliffuu.org/guest and sign our guest book, please. All right, it's time for member anniversaries. Yay. I'm excited about this one because this person gives me presents, and I love that. She's the one that gave me this crown for my birthday. Very pretty, very sparkly, and just like her, very pretty and sparkly. Happy anniversary to Heather Shawless. Now, to celebrate her anniversary, we will now play 4.5 minutes of Norwegian death metal. There's a note here. Actually, Scott has told me Scott has told me we are not allowed to play Norwegian death metal because of some kind of trademark, intellectual property issues. So sorry, y'all will just have to wait on that. Instead, and I cannot find the booty shaking llama either, Heather. I'm so sorry. I feel like I failed you. So instead, you get this much cuter, but in some ways much more obnoxious llama corn. Does it turn off? Oh, it does. I thought it didn't turn off. So it's just my kids keep it going all day, I guess. Anyway, happy anniversary to you, Heather, and happy Sunday to everybody else.
Welcome. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Thank you for having the curiosity and courage to join us. We welcome you, whoever you are, whatever spiritual tradition, gender, age, race, sexual orientation, or background you may bring to our community. We hope you will find here comfort, connection, challenge, respect, and above all, love.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness. And now in Spanish. Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
By Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Where do we go from here? 1967. What is needed is the realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. By Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., A Christmas Sermon on Peace, 1967. Now let me suggest first that if we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. And this means we must develop a world perspective. No individual can live alone. No nation can live alone. And as long as we try, the more we are going to have war in this world.
Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y aceptación, así que hacemos pacto. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in a winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and the rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
We share our sorrow with one another, believing that a sorrow shared is a sorrow halved. Today, we also hold in our hearts the shared grief of our hurting planet. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your sorrows and prayer requests to our Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love.
We also share our joys with one another, believing that a shared joy is a joy doubled. Today, we take special time to celebrate our connection to all life everywhere. Please share your joys publicly in the Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger or speak those aloud.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart of the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
It's the year 2020, 20 years into the 21st century. And still we ask, where do we go from here? Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King asked that question in a speech to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference in the summer of 1967. It was his last presidential address to that conference. 1967 was on the heels of the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which deemed that no person could be discriminated against for race, national origin, religion, or gender, and thus ended all legal segregation. As well, relative to this time, was the passage of the Voting Rights Act in 1965, which ended all discriminatory voting practices, such as literacy tests and poll taxes. So to answer this question, where do we go from here, we must first understand, just as King suggests, where are we now? 2020, the year to end all years. A time when a pandemic has taken more than 250,000 U.S. lives, and nearly half of those were preventable. A time when people are putting their rent on high-interest credit cards, while the president goes golfing and Congress goes on yet another vacation. A time when lines to food banks go around blocks, and the stock markets hit yet another record high. See, right now we have to be real honest with ourselves. 1% of the population controls 82% of the wealth. And it's about more than just your candidate or my candidate, because both your candidate and my candidate sit a lot closer to the 1% than you or I do. Right now, 56 years after the passage of the Civil Rights Act, it's still acceptable to kill a black man in the middle of the streets in cold blood without consequence if you wear a badge. And if you wear that same badge, you can kill a black woman in her own home without consequence. Martin Luther King, Congressman Joe Louis, may they both rest in peace, peacefully marched in Salem. But today, if you take to the streets, raise your voice, assert your power, assert your agency, harness your power for yourself, for your sisters and your brothers, you're often met with tear gas and rubber bullets. I'm not saying this to frighten you. No. This is what colonialism has brought us. It has put a dollar sign on a human life. It made domination the rule of the land. It made death of the other inconsequential. This is where we are now. The question is, where do we go from here? They say history is written by the hunter. And time and again we've seen that to be true. With the whitewashed history that many of you have learned, and I've learned in schools, and that our children still learn in schools today. See, Jesus, whether you believe it was divine or not, is probably one of the most pervasive symbols that has been whitewashed over the course of history. Why? Because the heart and core of his message was to stand up to the power of empire. He epitomized what King said. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice. From his message, communities sprung up all across Southern Europe. I'm the early church, not the institutional church, the early church. That is the history at the founding of all of us being here today in community. Communities gathered to stand up against empires of injustice. We are a community gathered to speak the power of love to the love of power. We are a community gathered together where the will to power is greater than the collective voice. Yet being in community is more than pumping our fists and shouting our slogans and carrying our signs. It's as much the little things. The little things like listening carefully with intention, validating even when we disagree, caring enough to call and ask, "How are you?" Holding space for feelings, even when they're strong ones you don't understand. And holding space for differences that you may think aren't right. Leaning in when you don't understand. And loving, especially when you don't know how. Colonialism is built on the foundation of dominance, and it is inherently rooted in competition. Divisiveness, or the division in a community, more so when it's in the little things, is the breeding ground of competition. Competition has always resulted in the hunter writing history. But it doesn't have to be this way. See, the hope of community is that of a shared history of progress, and not at the sacrifice of the lamb. No. But that is what the dominating powers want you to think. To move forward, certain deaths must be inconsequential. Poverty is a part of progress. Some lives, thoughts, beliefs are more valuable than others. This is what the dominating powers want us to believe. But if we are to see the end of pandemics, poverty, and profile killings, sure, shout your slogans, raise your banners, pump your fists, but the real progress begins in community. A community that is as passionate about its slogan as it is the little things. The listening, the caring, the validating, holding space, leaning in, and most of all, loving. I'd like to conclude, as King did on that summer day in 1967, and say, We have a task, and let us go out to that task with divine dissatisfaction. Let us be dissatisfied until America will no longer have a high blood pressure of creeds and an anemia of deeds. So, bring down the walls of injustice, the swaths of poverty, and bring down the power of domination.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
Today, as you make your pledge or offering to support this community, let the words of Heather Christensen inspire you to generosity, individually and together. Unitarian Universalism is a grand vision of a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy. That vision is embodied in a few large congregations, numerous mid-sized congregations, and many, many small congregations. No matter its size, every congregation depends on each of its members. Each one of you, by your commitment of time, energy, and resources, helps make that grand vision real. Individually and together, we are Unitarian Universalists, building a world filled with peace and justice, love and joy.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy. Así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
Where is the place, its stronghold, from which it proceeds? Certainly this place is hidden, or is in that which is hidden. There is a place in a human being's most inward depths. From this place proceeds the life of love, for from the heart proceeds life. But this place you cannot see. No matter how far you thrust in, the source withdraws to the remoteness of hiding. Even if you have thrust in as far as possible, the source is always a bit farther in, like the source of a spring, which just when you are nearest, it is farthest away.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now in Spanish. Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled